Here are some hints for homework sheet 17. First question, you have to name the blue graph. Now, first thing we notice is that the graph goes up, down, and then back up again. Now that to me looks like it's a sine graph, so that's the first thing I've identified. Next thing I need to identify is the value for A, the value for B, and the value for C. Now, the easiest one to probably get is the value for B, because how many waves do we actually have in 360? One wave, two waves. What's the value for A? Well, remember, A is just half the distance between the top of the graph and the bottom of the graph. And then C is how many places has it been moved up. The sine graph normally starts here at 0, it's starting here at 1, so you can work that one out. Question 2, solve this equation. Problem here is the 5 and the 2 on the bottom. How do we get rid of those? We multiply each of the fractions by 10. So put a little 10 at the front. Remember, we have to multiply this by 10 as well. 5 goes into 10 twice, so that gives us 2 lots of that numerator. 2 goes into 10 5 times, so that's take away 5 lots of that numerator, equals a negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. Now, removing the brackets, tidying it all up, eventually I'll give you x equals. Question 3, complete the square. Well, we know what to do here. X times x gives you x squared. Half this number, square it, and then wonder how do I get to 3. Second one is a wee bit harder because it involves an odd number in the middle. So I'll do an example like it, not that one. So let me do x squared minus 5x plus 1. So in the brackets I'm going to have x, then I'm going to half the 5, so I'm going to write it as 5 over 2 squared. Now I've written as a fraction because it's easy for me to square 5 over 2, because that's just 5 5s over 2 2s. So I'm at 25 over 4. I need to get back to positive 1. How do I do that? Well, if you think about what 25 over 4 actually is, it's actually 6 1/4. So how do I get from 6 1/4 back to 1? By taking off 5 1/4. So if you do something similar for this question, you should have the answer. Question 4, the toothpaste. Well, this is one of these questions where we need to find the linear scale factor. Now we know that we're going from the small toothpaste to the big toothpaste. So that being the case, the big number goes on the top, the small number goes on the bottom. Okay, simplify that. We're talking about volume, so we need to find the volume scale factor. How do we find the volume scale factor? Well, you take this answer you've got up there and we cube it, not square it, we cube it for the volume scale factor. And then it's just a case of getting that answer and then multiplying it by the 35 millilitres that's in the small tube, and that will give you your answer for the big tube. Question 5 and 6 have disappeared. So question 7, find the area of this pentagon. So if you split the pentagon up into 5 regular triangles, then that should allow you to work out what the size of one of these angles in the middle is. So if I take that triangle, okay, the blue one here, if I take that triangle out, I know that this angle here is 72, because 360 divided by 5 gives me 72. The question tells us what the side is, 12. So that means this side here is 12. Now for us to work out the area of the triangle, we need to use either a half AB sine C or a half base times height. Now unfortunately, to use the first formula we would need to know this side and this side, which we don't have, and to use the second formula we would need to know the height, which we don't have. But if I split this triangle in half, then I know that this side is going to be 6, I know that this angle is going to be 36, and then I can do SOHCAHTOA to find this side, and then use the first formula, or I can do SOHCAHTOA to find this side, and then use the second formula. So you have a choice at this point. Question 8, solve this equation. So 5 cos x would equal, take the 4 over, cos x would then equal negative 4 over 5. Now we're at our all sine tan cos part. Cos is equal to a negative number, so that means we're going to tick the sine and the tan boxes. And I'll leave it to you to finish off. Lastly, number 9, calculate the perimeter area of this shape. Well, I'm going to do the area first of all. So if I take this end bit here and move it over to this side, then basically what I've created is a rectangle. So to work out the area, I just do the rectangle, length times width. Let me put that back where it should be. Okay, so the area is nice and easy because we know what the length is, we know what the height is. How are we going to do the perimeter? Well, think about what this shape's actually made up of. It's made up of a straight part, it's made up of another straight part, and then a quarter circle and a quarter circle. So the perimeter is going to be a straight, add a quarter circle, add another quarter circle. Now we know how long the straights are, tells us in the question what these are, so that's not a problem to find. Put these two quarters together and you've got half a circle. So the formula for the full circle is pi d, and you're just going to half that. That should be enough to get you finished that question. And that's the end of the homework this week. Nice and easy, I think.